Thank you for joining us this evening, everybody. Welcome to our stress tips and stress reduction call for healthy moms. And you don't have to be a mom to get benefit from this call, because I think everyone could use with a few stress reduction and self-care tips. So tonight, that's what it's going to be all about. And I have a wonderful panel of speakers to join me. And I want to start just by introducing myself, but also just to give them like a minute to introduce their self. And then we will carry on with our fun event, which will be done in 20, 30 minutes max. So I'm Judy Holt. I'm so glad you joined us this evening. If you're listening to the replay, our purpose of this event is that we really just wanted to offer a chance for ladies to connect together in just a really heartfelt way, to offer some tips and support. It's been a really stressful past year, as we know, with all the external things going on. So what are we doing for our own self-care on a daily basis? So I know myself, and I speak for the other ladies here this evening, that we really want to help you and support you in wherever you may be with your wellness goals. And things that help you to reduce your stress are a big piece of that. So we want to be well, we want to be thriving. And I thought of a really fun question I wanted to ask everybody tonight is, how many would like to feel energized and excited for their future? And just like right on, like energized, and excited. Like, what does that mean to you? So we're going to give you some fun little tips tonight. So on our panel of speakers, I've got Lori Bartley, and I'm just going to ask Lori to start and just share a minute about, her story and what's really worked for her for self-care tips. And Lori, just a little snippet, even of introduction would be wonderful. And then we'll get into more details later.
Thank you. Okay, so yeah, my name is Lori Bartley, and I started on my self-care journey in earnest, I'll say. Probably, I would say 14 years ago, when I was introduced to the Hospice Association here. I became a volunteer, and partnering with people, companioning with people through their end of life, absolutely without question shifted my life. It shifted my perspective on life, on what's important, and it helped me start the journey of paying a lot more attention and being more mindful of the choices that I make in life, the way I approach life, and the way that I interact with others. So that really got me started. And yeah, that's all I'll say for now. Anyway, huge,
Awesome.
big awakening. And yeah, it hasn't stopped.
Thank you, Lori. Virginia, would you just give us a quick little introduction to you and what self-care means to you?
Hi, everyone. Virginia, I've been using Shaklee products for over 10 years, but just recently dove into the nutrient line. And it's just, I've had amazing results. And me, I'm busy mom. My son is homeschooling right now, and I'm working in as well. So it's important to me to have products that can keep me going, keep me running. And Shaklee is 100% working that way. So glad everyone could make it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Virginia. Elise, I know you have lots of tips and tools, but can you just give us a quick little introduction to you and what self-care means to you? Oh, you're muted. Let me just.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Nice.
So that kind of helps, right? For me, my sort of health and wellness and self-care path began a number of years ago before having kids, and then having kids. And after all of that, I kind of disconnected from that and got lost in being a mother. And right, I think everyone, well, any mom can kind of understand that. And then I reconnected through a lot of Ayurvedic, the sister science to yoga studies, practices, habits, etc. And so basically I'd say like my biggest takeaway for self-care is like the 80-20 rule, where like 80% of the time I'm like, trying to tap into what works for me, which is like movement, journaling, reading something like a quote of some sort, and then like having some type of like regular regime, right? And then 20% of the time not being so like rigid, right? Because being rigid, I don't think is helpful, all the time, right? And then recently, well, in the last year and a half, I've also tapped into some of the Prove It Challenge products. And so this is through Shackley Health, and that's, it supports my nutritional sort of aspects and keeps me going for teaching classes and whatnot. But also I think having a community, right, to connect with and connect to, of like-minded mothers, women, people who are on sort of a similar path, or also having similar struggles too. So I could go on, but I'll be quiet. Wrap it up.
That's perfect, Elise. Thank you. I think so many of us on this call, I mean, we probably are all moms, and it doesn't mean you have to be to experience stress, but I do believe that, as a mom, we really get that we wear a lot of hats, and sometimes it's really hard to manage that. Some of us are grandmas too, so we've got the grandma hat, we've got the or significant other hat, or we've got the career hat. And we've got our everyday lifestyle, run the household, domestic engineer hat. And there's just a lot of things to shuffle and a lot of things to feel like we have to do that. So one thing I heard today was an amazing quote. It says, it was Christine actually that shared this on the call today. Perfection is boring. So instead of us feeling like we have to be perfect all the time at everything, let's just know, like, I love the 80-20 rule, Lise. I focus on that with my diet. I'm like, I'm going to cheat once in a while because that's just what life's about. We can't be perfect all the time at everything. And it's really boring if we are. So let's not strive for perfection, but let's strive for growth and improvement and just, a little bit getting better at things every day. So I wanted to just chat with you just for a brief minute about stress and some 3 sort of key areas that can be really helpful when you are looking at how stress affects you in your life. So first of all, see the stress, acknowledge it, move it to your consciousness and to the frontal cortex of your brain, so you have awareness of it. That's the first piece, is the awareness. Okay, I'm feeling really stressed right now. And then the second part is welcome the stress. It's like, okay, I know it shows up when, right? When I'm doing this is when I have the stress. I know what's going to happen. Be prepared for it. But also know that meaningful accomplishments happen when we are under stress. Like, if you look back on your life, you can probably find that when you were in your most stressful moments and the most challenging times, that, man, you had the most productivity, the biggest results, because you had the adrenaline from the stress, right? Like, you were motivated to get out of that situation, to improve it, whatever it might be. So that's part of the third part of this, is use the experience to your benefit. So push it to your benefit to level up and thrive. So basically, you're taking the energy and the adrenaline from that stress, and how do you move it, towards like, whoo, I'm running with this now. This is really going to be giving me the momentum and the excitement and exhilaration, or whatever it takes. And sometimes the excitement's not always a good excitement at the time, but whatever it takes to motivate us. So I really love that as some sort of things to remember, that stress can be good. Running from the bear chasing us in the forest is obviously a different kind of stress than what most of us are feeling on a day-to-day basis. We're not in fight or flight mode, but we still have underlying stress. And, the whole thing with the pandemic and all the changes in the world have caused a lot of underlying stress for everybody. And I was listening to a really excellent training today, and they were talking about how that underlying stress is affecting us. And we don't realize it, that it's just kind of this little nagging thing in the back of our mind. We go to bed and we're like, oh, what's going to happen in the world, right? Like, everybody's got all these questions. What's going to happen with my career? What's going to happen with my family? Like, there's just so much stuff that's uncertain. And that underlying stress is really challenging for anybody at any time. And then you add all the other normal stuff to the picture. So we just have to give ourselves grace. And we need to, recognize that self-care now is more important than any other time, probably in the history of the world, and certainly in the history of our life. So we need to give ourselves permission for that self-care every day. And what I want to do next is ask our panel, Virginia and Lori and Elise, to share what works for them for self-care tips. And, if you could each take 1 or 2 minutes, ladies, each, and just, I'll just go through along and just share with us, what are your top sort of tools or strategies that you use? Do you want to go first, Lori?
Sure. Thank you. Thanks for that, Judy. That was really, really interesting take on adrenaline, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you. So really what I would say is my self-care, I am very diligent. I do have practices every day. There's movement for sure. Outside as much as I possibly can, because for me, nature is completely soothing. And I do really bring myself into the present moment when I'm in nature. I am a very mindful person. I journal, I write, I'm very connected. So every day I do, I call it contemplation more than meditation, because for me, meditation is trying to quiet the mind. And for me, it's more about contemplation where I actually am asking a question and I'm waiting for the answer to land, right? So for me, it's more of I'm musing and waiting for some inspiration and connection. So when you were talking, Judy, about the adrenaline and stuff and about all those questions at night, I don't have them. I just don't. I understand that they're there, but I think hospice really brought me a huge, beautiful gift there, because if nothing else, it taught me about past pain and future fear, right? So what we're fearful of are things that the stories in our heads, right? They're not even real a lot of the times. It's just what if, what if, what if? And it creates a struggle within us, but it also really takes us out of the present moment. And so as much as I can, it's my daily practice is to be mindful and to keep myself in the present moment. What is happening in this moment? How can I, contribute to somebody in a better way? How can I uplift them? How can I just show some love, and always, to me, that's the answer for everything. Just show some more love. So I hope that was helpful.
Love it, Lori. That's awesome. I love what you said, the past pain and future fear, because that was really, yeah, and contemplating. What a great term. Thank you for sharing. Virginia, how about you? What are your tips? Because I know you're a super busy mom, working a lot of hours, a teenage son, husband that works out of town a lot. Like, you've got a lot of things that you're juggling, a lot of hats that you wear. So what works for you?
For me, I completely rely on the supplements, the Shaklee supplements. They literally, I'm sure, sometimes are the only thing that keeps me running. I work shift work, so I'm extremely, make sure I take them every day. Smoothies are, an easy meal for me to run, easy meal for my son in the morning to do. So that is part of it, and my main, for just taking care of myself, I guess, is letting myself slow down, letting myself take the time to stop and just sit and take 5 if I need, and go from there. But yeah, it's crazy busy. I sleep. I that's my main self-care. I know that I need sleep, and that is I will allow myself, if I need to have a nap, I will have a nap. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Virginia. That's huge. You know what? I think we just to give ourselves permission to take a nap and to sleep when we need to, like listening to our body. Hello, like, why is that so hard for the general population to do, right? So good for you. Elise, if you're there, I think I saw her leave there for a minute, but I was going to ask her to share next, but we can maybe just open this up for discussion a little bit and tell us what you do if you would like to share. What's your number one self-care tip that works for you on a daily basis. If anybody would like to share, you're welcome to. You just have to unmute yourself.
Hi.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks for sharing.
Hi, thanks. And I've done the daily meditation on and off for a long period of time. And then what happened in January was I just decided to do like 30 days straight first thing in the morning. And I made it really easy on myself where I didn't even roll out of bed. It was just kind of like I woke up first thing, put the meditation, and it was always guided, but a lot of times it was just like the first few minutes were guided and then it was music. But I really noticed a big difference doing that. And I just made it as easy as possible on myself. I didn't really worry about going and sitting in a comfortable spot. I just woke up and it just was such a nice way to start my day, because I'm so guilty of watching the news. I get up, I make my coffee, I watch the news, and I even say to myself, this is such a terrible thing to do. I'm just feeding myself negativity before my day even starts. So I tried to replace that. And I haven't been perfect at it, so I'm being gentle with myself there. But I really have found that it's totally set a different tone for my day. I don't feel as rushed in the morning with the kids, trying to get them ready for school. I feel way more just at ease with just setting the tone for the day. And I think that's something that has just really helped me. And then it just, like I said, it sets the tone. So it just kind of sets me up to do better things. It's just taking that next step. I'm already feeling good, so I just want to stay that way instead of waking up feeling crappy, feeding myself with the bad news, feeding myself in that really negative way. So yeah, I think that crucial, time, right first thing in the morning just is such a big piece to how the rest of your day unfolds. And like Virginia, I'm like you. I've just been very much my body feels like it needs a rest, because I can be like all of us, just go, go, go. You just got to keep, moving. And then, but you know what? Just trying to listen a little bit better has been really nice, and not really, like I said, taking the time to be, still is actually a lot harder a lot of times for most of us than being on the move. So, but once you do it, I just think it's been really nice having afternoon naps if you need it, or just not doing something that you feel you need to do, or maybe go take a walk outside or so forth. But for me, it's really started in that first 10 minutes of my morning. So anyway, I found that just a nice setup to make good choices so that my day follows a nice pattern instead of setting it off on the wrong foot immediately.
Thank you, Wendy, for sharing. That is so true. I mean, how we start our day is how our day typically tends to play out, right? So if we start off our day running around and stressed, and like I'm sure many busy moms do, because they're running out the door, or now they're maybe taking their kids to daycare and coming home to work. Who knows? There's so many different ways of working now. But the key piece is how we start our day. I know I always have considered it a holy hour, or my power hour, the first thing in the morning. And it's definitely always going to include 10, 15 minutes of meditation. It's always going to include at least 20 minutes of some kind of movement and 20 minutes of learning, listening to a podcast or something. So at least that hour is mine every day, no matter what. No one's going to take that time away from me. When my kids were younger, that's what I did, just like you. I would meditate in bed if that's what it took. I didn't care. That was my time, man, and no one was getting that time. And it just set the tone for the day. And then my kids would get up and, you'd be busy running around doing breakfast and all those things. But I had my own self-care taken care of before the day started. And wow. And then permission to take a break during the day, right? Go out for a walk, do these things that bring you joy. Thank you for sharing. So Lise, can you give us a couple little tips on fitness and what works for you for self-care? Because I know you're the awesome fitness person, but is there some particular stretches or different things that work for you?
There we go. I think I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me, just like a lot of you, getting up in the morning and just getting moving, hydration, elimination, right? Setting the tone, reading a quote, writing one little thing in my journal. I used to try to journal quite a bit, quite a lengthy bit. And after a while, I was like, you know what, this is like taking too long because you only have so much time. And whether you have to work, you just got to get your day going. You've got kids, and there's a lot happening. So really, I just like pick like one thing that I'm grateful for, and one thing that I really want to accomplish. Now, I don't do that every single morning, but you know, it's that 80-20 kind of rule, right? Get the body moving. There's some mornings where I feel like I'm, you know, have more energy, so then I'll do more. But then there's other mornings where I'm like, oh my God, but already that time I don't feel like up. But those are the mornings that I find that I really need it. So I guess my sort of, if I have any sort of like tip, it would be like the days that you really don't want to get up and do something, make yourself do it and set yourself up for success. Like put out your, whatever your mat or your weights or your favorite book, or get out your meditation pillow. Or if you don't have a meditation practice and you want to start, then find an app, Insight. Ouch, our cat's going nuts on me, sorry. Find something like Insight Timer, and get on that and find what it is that you want and just set yourself up for success, right? And that sometimes is the defining sort of, you know, reason why we may or may not, you know, start something, and get involved in like a group or find somebody who's a support buddy and accountability partner.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Elise. And thank you for the tip about the accountability partner, because I think if we want to make any kind of change in our life, if we have an accountability partner, that really up levels our game. We
100%.
be accountable to somebody. Wow, we're going to do way more. You know, someone's going to check in with you and say, oh, how was that workout today? You know, did you do your meditation? Did you go for a walk? I'm going to pick you up, or I'm going to meet you at the, you know, whatever. So that's a big piece. Anything you want to change in your life, get an accountability partner in that area. And then, you know, there's all of us on the call here. Well, Elise, Lori, and Virginia and I, we are all committed to helping you with your wellness journey. So if you want tips, tools on anything, you know, that's kind of our mission. So thank you for sharing, Elise. I'm just going to show a couple of quick little slides here, and then we are. So stress, we talked a little bit about how it, you know, really affects us in a lot of ways, but also our immune system is affected by stress. I'm just going to start this here. Just one sec. I see my slides are not quite starting up. Well, I guess I'm going to have them not completely showing separately here. There we go. I think I can get it up. Okay. There. That's better. So stress affects our immune system. One way our body reacts to stress is by suppressing it. And ways to manage stress. We talked about this: exercise, staying positive, meditating, unplugging. Unplugging is a big one. Turn off the screens at least an hour before you go to bed at night. Things that that stress triggers unhealthy behaviors. We tend to eat higher fat, higher sugar foods, smoking, drinking too much alcohol. I mean, we all know that when we're feeling stressed, we want to go for the comfort things, and we're making more emotional choices around our foods and our drinks. So just be aware of that. And then we tend to not want to exercise. And like Elise said, there's some mornings it's like, I just don't want to get up. I just don't want to do anything. And those are the days that we need it the most. So if you don't make any changes, what will it cost you? What will your life look like in 5 years? You know, are you still going to have this frazzled head going on with, you know, debt and work and working late nights and fear and all these things, anxiety? Or what will be the benefits if you make a change? You know, I love the lady sniffing sunflowers, because to me, that is the ultimate of relaxation and calm, is being in nature and just, you know, having the freedom. So what will it cost you if you don't make a change? There's a product that Shaklee has that I really quite like that's called Stress Relief Complex. And it's got ashwagandha in it, which is a great herb that just really relaxes the muscles in the body, but yet you still stay alert. So if you're looking for something to calm you, to relax muscles, and to help with fatigue a little bit, but also if you've got really tense muscles, because you know what happens when we're under stress, our shoulders hunch up and our back gets tight. And so this just really helps to calm the muscles as well as the mind and the body. And, you know, traffic jams, work demands, all these kind of things are a factor that contribute to stress. So if we want to lower or sort of blunt the damage that the raised cortisol levels do in our body when we're under stress, this is a product that can really help with that. And of course, one of the big things about underlying stress is that it increases, or I should say, it taxes our adrenal glands. And when our adrenals are overworking and overactive and not really getting any rest because we've got this underlying stress going on in our body all the time, it is actually quite harmful to our body over time. So that's where something like a stress relief complex supplement comes in. But you know, the meditation, the self-care, all those things are important, but sometimes we need a little bit of extra. And adrenal burnout is not a good place to be. So we want to watch that. So if you really want to do some extra protection this winter with a lifestyle reset, if you recognize that there's some areas that you can improve on, there is something that I want to share just really quick in a minute, is the 30-day wellness plan that we have. It starts with a 7-day healthy cleanse. There's meal plans, recipes, coaching, private Facebook community. We also do on a private Facebook group, a daily short educational video, like this week's all about mindset and motivation. So we're not just addressing, you know, one area of wellness, we're addressing the fitness or the movement side, the mindset piece, doing a cleanse to detoxify the body, and then just general lifestyle tips. So you're going to get all that in a private Facebook community. And then there's also accountability and prizes with the reset challenge that's going on right now. So, and we also have a new, even more exciting program. It's called a Cleanse with a Cause. And for every pound lost when you're doing a cleanse, and this is a 7-day plant-based cleanse with unlimited fruits and vegetables, you're certainly not hungry. I posted this little thing on the bottom of the screen here that not hungry. It's a diet reset, it detoxifies and helps you feel energized. And so with the Cleanse with a Cause, what we're doing with that is for every pound that is lost, we're donating $1 to a local charity. And for the month of January and the month of February, we're donating to a local food bank. And for next month, we're going to donate to a women's charity group. So we're just sort of picking and choosing, and each month will be something different. But the great thing about it is that every pound lost is helping a good cause. So you can lose weight, feel your best, and do good for other people. And the Prove It Challenge is a great way to start because you get the cleanse and you also get vitamins and a smoothie that will last you for a month. So if that's something that you want to find out a little bit more about, we're happy to connect with you on that. I want to just close by asking everyone if we could just go around and tell us what your one takeaway was from this evening. And I'll start. I think my big takeaway was, I loved what Lori said, contemplate. You know, we don't have to be in fear. We can make choices every day. How do we contemplate, you know, what's the best fit for us? So yeah, if you guys want to just unmute yourself and just share. Lori, do you want to just share one takeaway that you had?
Sure, thank you. I liked what Virginia said about fueling her body with good nutrients, because honestly, that is hugely important too. Thanks.
Thank you. Virginia, how about you?
I really liked what Wendy said about first thing in the morning and just doing that meditation, getting it out of the way, because I'm finding for myself that, you know, by the time my evening is done or shift work, whatever, I don't really have the mind to sit there and just meditate. So I really like that idea. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Wendy, how about you? What was one thing that you learned from tonight? One takeaway.
Well, just in a general theme was, it was just really nice to not feel alone. You know, that there are others feeling the same way, because I think we can get really lost in that. You know, having to not socialize, I guess, and you know, you may see people casually, but and everything that you guys said tonight was all just great and just a nice refresher. Even though you may have heard it before, it's kind of nice to just, you know, have a conversation with other women and know that you're not alone. And yeah, good fueling your body is amazing. Everything you guys said was you know, just relevant. So thank you. I'm really happy to attend.
Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. I think that you mentioned something really key there, that the connection with other women and realizing that you're not alone. And, these are really challenging times for everybody right now. And it's more important than ever to find our tribe, to feel like you're part of a community that understands you, like-minded people, and that you're not on your own, and that people have your back, right? And sometimes just our immediate family member, it's not enough, right? We need the connection of other women from different areas and different communities without, for lack of a better word to say. So thank you for sharing. Joanne, how about you? What was a takeaway for you?
Accountability partner. I can talk myself out of doing anything. So just having somebody there that can have my back and encourage me and really help me to show up.
Love that. Thank you, Joanne. So helpful. And I got your back. I'll be your accountability partner.
All right.
So thank you for joining us. Elise, how about you?
Definitely, it's the like-mindedness and the community of other women, really, and being able to like be vulnerable and share and like talk about, how we can support each other and where we want to go, where we envision ourselves. Definitely. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. Karen, how about you?
Oh, for sure. It's the whole, I've had a whole day, it feels like, of vulnerability and no shame conversations, and have really enjoyed it, actually. So thank you so much, Judy, for pulling this together tonight. I really appreciate you doing that and putting it out there. It's great.
You're welcome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Simone, would you like to share any takeaway that you had? Not sure if she can hear me. Did I miss anybody? Did everyone get a chance to share that wanted to? Yeah? Okay. Well, we'll wrap this up since we're a little bit over. Thank you so much for your time, everybody. And I promise that anybody that joined us tonight, any new guests, would get a free bottle of vitamin D. So we call that, Lori gave this wonderful term, sunshine in a bottle. So if you want your sunshine in a bottle, you're a new person, just reach out to the person that invited you, and we'll be sure to get you your sunshine, because we may not have it outside, but we have it in our heart with all this beautiful connection. And we know vitamin D is really helpful for keeping us strong and healthy, and also as a great stress reduction, because stress does some not great things to our body, and we need to pull out all the stops that we have. So thank you for joining us tonight, and feel free to reach out to the person that invited you, or they will reach out to you and see if you have any questions. And I wouldn't mind continuing this event if you ladies are interested in that. We can have a conversation about doing this again in the future.
I'm in. Thank you so much, Judy.
Thank you, Judy.
And thank you for everyone who chimed in. Thank you, Leah. I don't know, Leah, I think she's gone. She must be gone.